What up, everybody? It's your boy Ropes. Shouts out to the LDBC. I kind of wanted to make a video and revisit Andre Ward versus Dawson because there was a video that was uploaded yesterday by one of the members of the Gennady Golovkin defense team, and he was basically trying to say that Andre Ward was being a diva with Dawson by not bending on the weight of 168, which is an actual weight class, and that was the weight class that he was campaigning at that particular time. And he gets accused of weight draining Chad Dawson, which I always thought was bullshit. They're trying to say that Ward was a diva, but in fact, it was Dawson who was being the diva. He was the bitch in the situation. And I'm going to explain why. Now, it was Dawson who opened his big fat mouth and played Billy Badass on live TV after his fight. And he called out Ward at 168. And he said that they can fight at a catch weight or they can fight at 175. But his mistake, where he put his foot in his mouth, is when he said the numbers 168. He should have left that out. If he was smart, he would have said, you know what? He's the best at his weight class. I'm the best at my weight class. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. Or if Ward thinks that he's tough, he can come up to 175. He should have never said 168. Because when you say 168, I'll fight him at 168, that means you're calling out a fighter at his weight class that he's campaigning at. So when Ward called his bluff and said, oh, you think you're going to come down here and beat me? All right, I accept the challenge. Later on, he tried to do a bait and switch type shit. He switched the whole shit up and he started setting up an excuse leading up into the fight. Talking about, oh, I wanted to fight at 170. I wanted a catch weight, but they didn't want to bend on the weight. They said 168 or no fight. Well, that's because you called him out at his weight class. That's your fault. If you were smart, you would have just called him at the catch weight or 175 and then see if he took the bait like that. He was being the diva in that situation, Dawson, okay? He switched the shit up after he played Billy Badass on live TV, okay? That's the way that I look at it. You ain't got to agree with it, but you're never going to change my mind on that, okay? That's why I give Brooke more props than Dawson, because at least Brooke stuck by what he said. He said, hey, I'll move up 2 weight classes to 160 to fight Gennady Golovkin. And he didn't go and switch the shit up later and say, oh, well, you know what? I don't really feel like that's fair. Why don't you come down to like 157, 158 or anything. He didn't do none of that fuck shit. He actually stuck by what he said. Okay? But do you guys who expected Ward to volunteer himself, into a catchweight situation or moving all the way up to 175, do any of you guys expect Triple G, Gennady Golovkin? Do you expect him to say, hey, you know what, Brooke? Let me make it fair for you. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. You don't got to come up to 160. Why don't we make it at 158, 157? You guys aren't asking him to do that. I mean, how stupid would it sound if we said, hey, Gennady, he's blowing up Brooke? Because that's not really what's going on. What's really going on is Brooke probably bit off more than he can chew by calling out Gennady Golovkin at his weight of 160. He doesn't have to bend. He doesn't have to do anything to make it fair. Just like Ward got called out at his fucking weight. He accepted the challenge at his weight class. Therefore, he does not have to bend to make things fair, because he got challenged at his weight. But you guys have different standards for different fighters. And you want to talk about double standards while using them at the same time. That's what I don't understand about you guys, man. And stop trying to hide your fighter behind another fighter. I'm real sick of that. People are hiding their fighter's diva-like behavior behind another fighter and what another fighter did. Man, these fighters are grown-ass fucking men, man. They need to be held accountable for their own actions. You want to say this fighter was a bitch for doing this, and then when your fighter does it, then you say, oh, well, he did it, so it's okay for him to do it. But you said he was a bitch when he did it. So that means that you're saying that your fighter is a bitch now for doing it. You can't have it both ways. Either that guy that you said was a bitch when all of that was going on really wasn't a bitch, and you was just talking out of your ass because you're a hater. Either it's that, or both of them are bitches. It's one or the other. But you guys like to hide your favorite fighter behind another fighter. Just like with Canelo Alvarez. I've heard several people say that Canelo's diva-like behavior right now is all because of Floyd Mayweather. Is Canelo not a grown-ass man? Like, why does he still get babied? He's not some little kid, man. He's a grown-ass fucking man. Are you saying that he don't have no backbone? That he hasn't reached manhood yet? That we gotta hide him behind, the actions of another fighter? We can't hold him accountable for his own fucking decisions and his own actions? It's bullshit. Okay? Canelo is a diva because he has diva-like waves inside of him. That's why. He's a diva because he's a diva. It ain't got nothing to do with Floyd Mayweather or any other fighter. He's a grown-ass man, and I'm holding him responsible for his own fucking actions. Point blank period. Same with Gennady Golovkin. Same with Andre Ward. Same with Dawson, Brooke, or anybody else. And that's just kind of how I feel about this whole thing. I thought that was a bad comparison to bring up Ward and Dawson to try to justify Gennady Golovkin saying that I'll move up to fight this fighter and I'll move down to fight these fighters, but I won't move up to fight that fighter or down to fight that fighter. I mean, that's literally what he's doing. All in the same year. He gets called out on it, and then you want to go and try to point to another fighter. Some old shit. Oh, what about Ward and Dawson? What about Ward weight draining Dawson? That man, Dawson weight drained his goddamn self, okay? That's his fault. Stop bringing that shit up, man. That's his fault for doing that. Hold these fighters accountable for their own actions already. Just like with Pacquiao, man. Pacquiao is getting ready to fight a bullshit fight with Jesse Vargas. Boring ass fucking fight, man. Look at the photos of them standing next to each other. Doesn't that shit just look boring? I'm not excited for that shit at all, man. Jesse Vargas, I'm not trying to say he's a bum or anything like that, but he got washed by Timothy Bradley already. I never thought that he was that good, and he's just boring, man. Look at his face, man. He's just boring. Nobody wants to see him fight, man. Nobody that I know. But this is justified because Mayweather fought Berto. For some reason, Pacquiao, he still can't be his own man. His name has to be attached to another fighter. And he moves according to what Mayweather did. Because he don't have his own fucking backbone and shit. He's just a little kid, a little bitch and shit. And this shit is ridiculous, man. Now, if you said that Floyd was a bitch, he was a cherry picker and a ducker for fighting Berto, then you gotta say that Pacquiao is a cherry picker, a bitch, and a ducker for choosing Jesse Vargas when there's other options out there that were better. Okay? You can't say, oh, well, Mayweather was a bitch, but it's okay for Pacquiao because Mayweather did it first. So my fighter's not a bitch, but your fighter still is a bitch. That doesn't make any sense, okay? Either they're both bitches or you were full of shit when you said that Mayweather was a bitch for fighting Berto. One or the other. I mean, this shit is getting so ridiculous with y'all, man. You guys leave your comments. I'm out.